What's a single valuable piece of information you would like to share? The most important piece of information you can give 911 is where you are, followed by what the problem. Even if no other information is given, someone can still be sent to a location to see what the problem is. Bonus: if you accidentally call 911, just stay on the line and tell them it was an accident. It happens a lot. They won't be mad. If you hang up, they have to call you back. That is irritating. Extremely useful website most people probably don't know about. Radio Garden. Listen to radio around the world. Pika Pika deals. Discover shopping deals and discounts across Amazon, Target and Best Buy. LibGen. Download almost any textbook as e-copy. Sci-Hub gives free access to download almost any paper. Terms of service. Didn't read summarizes terms of service and rates them for privacy. FutureMe.org. You can use it to send emails to the future you. Been using it for almost 3 years. It helps put into perspective how much has changed over the course of a year. Photopea online image editor with Photoshop feature. 12 feet. It bypasses all paywalls and removes all ads from any web page I have found. Show me a 10 feet paywall. I'll show you a 12 feet ladder. No install. Just copy and paste your link. Old games download. This website has every single PC game from the 70s, 80s, 90s till the early 2000s. My abandonware is a far better option than old games download. Flight Radar 24. Wondering where that plane, jet, or helicopter is going? Check them out. Note: don't buy anything on that site, just use it for further info only. Unsplash. Tons of free house images of damn near everything. Use the library for everything you can. Textbooks, movies, games, music. I hope all these would also help. Frugal. Discounted products. PovertyFinanceBudgetBytes.com. Don't drive if you haven't slept in the last 24 hours. A person who has been awake for 24 hours is as cognitively impaired as a person who is drunk. You always think you're going to have more time. You won't. Make the most of today. If you're outside during a storm and get a metallic taste in your mouth for seemingly no reason, then you're about to get struck by lightning. If you fall into cold water, the ocean, don't immediately try and swim. Lay on your back and try and control your breathing. The cold temperature will take your breath away and you will initially take small, quick breaths. You need to slow down your breathing as quickly as possible so your lungs can fill with air. Once you have done that, you will find it easier to float. If you live in the United States and have any insurance, you don't need a prescription to get a month of physical therapy. It's called direct access, and you can call your local PT clinic and request a walk-in appointment. Here's why this matters. You hurt your back. Nothing major. You just moved wrong. Maybe you heard a pop. Or maybe not. And now it hurts to move. You could call to get in with an orthopedic specialist, but they're booked a month out. You wait the month and see the doc, who orders an MRI. That's a 2-week wait. You do the MRI and have a follow-up with the doc a week or 2 later. He sees something like degenerative disc joint disease, which, if you're over 25, you probably have, and sends you to PT. 2 months after your initial injury, you start PT. You have all sorts of weird compensatory movements due to the pain. Everything hurts, and PT needs to work through months of guarding and compensations to make any progress. Or, you hurt your back with the same injury and mechanism as before. You call the doc and they're booking a month out, so you make the appointment. In the meantime, you start PT. You work for a month to help stretch, strengthen, get things moving appropriately again. At the end of the month, one of three things happens. 1. Your back feels better and you cancel your doctor's appointment. 2. Your back is getting better, so you keep your appointment and request continued PT. 3. Your back is not getting better, and you can tell your ortho that you've been doing PT for a month with no improvement. So they move alternative treatment options. In any case, you're in a much better situation than you were in the first situation. ETA. This is covered by insurance. Just pay your usual copay. The clinic will verify your insurance before you start to make sure you're in network. See ETA 4 if you're worried about deductibles or not having insurance. ETA 2. Here's a link to what each state offers. ETA 3. I used back as an example, but it's anything you'd need PT for. From back to neck to knee or hip or shoulder. Hell, if your toe hurts and it's been jacking up how you walk, we can probably help. We can also help with tension headaches. ETA 4. I'm seeing a bunch of people rightfully worried about unmet deductibles and still having to pay out of pocket. Most clinics have a self-pay option, which is substantially better than what we charge insurance. Because we only get reimbursed a fraction of that. The self-pay is basically just enough to cover overhead. If that's not doable, many will also offer financing. If you're worried about the financial strain, tell your therapist. I've treated plenty of people who tell me at the evaluation that they're strapped for cash. Instead of seeing them multiple times per week, I'll do the eval to figure out what's wrong, and then give them stretches and/or exercises, and educate how to progress them. I'll have them come back in a few weeks and we can update the plan based on how they're doing. It's not ideal, but it's better than living in pain. Finally, if finances are absolutely limiting, a lot of public health clinics have resources for free or reduced cost, sliding scale PT. It's generally 1 or 2 days per week, and it's therapists who are volunteering to help folks out. The system is broken, but that doesn't mean you have to live in pain. Windows key plus V in Windows 10 and 11 brings up your clipboard history. Don't accept criticism from someone you would not ask for advice from. Not very many people care about you. Cherish the ones who do. When you decide to sober up, be prepared to lose many people you thought were your friends. Quick breads include muffins, banana bread, biscuits, and soda bread. All quick breads rise by acid-base reactions. Usually in baking, that means one of 4 acids: acetic acid, lactic acid, citric acid, or tartaric acid. If a recipe is calling for one and you don't have it, look up a substitution tool and use one of the others. Acetic acid equals vinegar. Citric acid equals citrus juice. Lactic acid equals buttermilk, yogurt. Tartaric acid equals cream of tartar. Police in America are legally allowed to lie to you to get a confession. They can lie about all kinds of evidence they have on you and that you have no chance but to confess. Don't say a word other than to ask for a lawyer. Never fall into the belief that it'll get worked out in court later. The second you confess, you're done. Even if you are guilty and want to confess, still get a lawyer. They'll work out a plea bargain for you that you could not get if you confessed to a cop before your trial. Add all the water at the beginning when making pizza dough. Once you have a ball of dough, if you add water, it's not going to incorporate well and you'll have to work your dough twice as hard to make it soft enough. Never make a large financial decision without considering all the tax consequences. Also, 20,000 leagues under the sea refers to the distance traveled, not submerged depth. Learning how to get along with people you don't exactly like in the workplace will do wonders for your career. Sometimes it isn't about having talent, it's enough to be a good, decent person to others. Coming from me, a talentless corporate hire. AKA the personality hire. Ha ha ha. Some credit cards cover accidental damage to electronics for a predefined period of time. Use those cards for buying computers and electronics. 3 bits of medical advice from old jobs. 1. Strokes can come on very quickly. If someone has a sharp headache or feels woozy or is slurring their speech and you don't believe that's due to any substance they've ingested, ask them to smile. Is it even on both sides? Ask them to raise their arms over their head. Can they raise both? Ask them to say, "The early bird gets the worm." Are any words garbled, out of order or slurred? If the smile, arms or speech are not as they usually are, get them to a hospital. 2. Sepsis can come on very quickly. An infection entering your bloodstream. Could be a cut, a boil, a piercing, an infected tooth, graze or puncture wound. If the skin around the cut wound is red and raised, hot to the touch. If the person feels nauseous, lightheaded or dizzy. If they have a fever or are sweating but feel cold, this could be a sign of a more serious infection. Get them to a hospital. 3. Heart attack isn't always pain in the chest, it can also feel like a sharp stabbing pain in the upper back, above the shoulder blade, or like an iron bar around the lungs as opposed to pains in the heart. Get help as soon as you can. You're not being dramatic, I promise. Always better to seek medical help as soon as you can. You're allowed to go to restaurants on your own. No one is going to think it's strange. And the staff might treat you extra well. I always suspected they thought I was a critic. So if there is some place you want to try but no one willing to go with you, don't deprive yourself. Always wear closed-toe shoes and long pants in and near wooded areas. Check yourself for ticks on your clothing. Or on your dog. Lyme disease is no joke.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.